One of the things that I always admired most about Stephanie was her ability to live fully in the moment. Wherever she was seemed like the most important place she could be, and she always made the people around her feel like they were really important and the most important people she could be around. When Autumn was about 3, Miss Stephanie and Autumn shared a booth together at a ladies' lunch. And as soon as Stephanie sat down beside Autumn, Autumn looked over at her and she said, "Hey, you have long arms like me." And for the rest of the lunch, Autumn and Stephanie admired their long arms with each other, and that's been one of their connections ever since. And she always had such a knack for making people feel important and special, and we loved that so much about her. We love you, Stephanie.
We love you, Stephanie.
We love you, Stephanie. We love you, Stephanie.
This is Rachel, and I went to high school with Stephanie, and we were also college roommates our freshman year as well. So how do you say goodbye? How do you say goodbye to such a beautiful smile, such a selfless person who is kind and humble and adventurous? How do you say goodbye to a creative and fun friend, one that truly never complained and always looked at the bright side? You don't, I don't think. Instead, I plan to take all that with me for the rest of my life. I want to use Stephanie as an example for my own life and honor her through being a better person because I knew her. I was lucky to have known Steph for most of my life. I've known her longer than I haven't known her. And I think we're all lucky to have known such a special and wonderful girl who was brave when she didn't want to be, but she chose to be a victor and not a victim. That was kind of her slogan. And I hope I can take that with me and live that way as well. And such a special, special person. We love you, Steph.
I'm Jay Livingston. I first met Stephanie at a Panthers bar in New York City because we were both big Panthers fans, and my friend Kat had invited me to come watch a game with them. And I noticed Stephanie immediately and tried to play it cool, even though I thought, man, who is this blonde girl that I got to chat with for a few minutes and was from Charlotte, and I was sort of instantly smitten. But trying to play it cool, didn't talk to her for that first event much, and then made sure I got to that second game and made sure through Kat that she was going to be there. And so chatted her up quite a bit at the game, and then afterwards we were sort of standing outside, and there was a third guy that was kind of with us for a lot of that conversation that I wasn't too worried about because he had a fiance, he had told me, but as we were standing there and I was kind of trying to get some alone time with her, I realized that he was kind of trying to keep me from getting that alone time with her. And so I finally said to Stephanie, "Hey, would you like to go get something to eat after the game?" And he immediately said, "I'd love to." So the three of us went to dinner and had a bite to eat. And, after a while, we were finally able to shake him and ended up dating Stephanie for over a year. And, Stephanie was just a great person all around, but also a strong, independent woman, so impressive that she had moved to Australia from Charlotte. That's not an easy thing to do and a big move. And then to go from there to New York City, settle right in New York, fearless, not knowing many people, really showed that kind of strength that she had and that sort of determination to be, successful and see the world. And, the other thing though is she never lost that Southern charm that she had, that kind of sweetness to her. And as I got to know her parents a little bit and a little bit more over the course of her disease, I saw where she got it from, because they were both so charming, but also huge resolve through all this. And, you know, watching Stephanie go through this was both heartbreaking, but also inspiring, because she never lost that sparkle in her eye, or that spirit that she had throughout the entire process. And, you know, that's something I'll carry with me the rest of my life. And, you know, I think all of us that knew her take pride, and her parents certainly can, in how she handled that. And I'm sad that she's gone, and we'll miss her terribly, but know that she left a lasting impression on a lot of us.
I don't know if it was Stephanie's first trip to New York ever, but one Thanksgiving, all the cousins and aunts and uncles came up to my house in Virginia, and we took the train up to New York. And Stephanie was so excited to see the city, and we were all excited to just explore this big place that was so different from what we were used to. And I remember Stephanie just glowing the whole time she was there. It really seemed like she belonged there. And I like to think that that's really the trip that stoked her love of travel and really pushed her to one day return to New York and live there. So I just remember the good times we had exploring the city and taking the train ride up, just having so much fun in this big new place. And it always seemed like a place that was meant for her.
Steph was new to New York, and I just wanted to be her friend right away, to show her the ropes and make sure she didn't let the city eat her alive like it tends to do with people that are new. And she was moving into her apartment at Elizabeth Street, and 122 Elizabeth Street, and she needed some new stuff. So there was this sale that she found on Craigslist. A girl was moving out of New York, and she was just giving away everything. So Steph wanted to get all of the stuff she possibly could to fill in her new apartment that had no furniture. So we decided to raid this place. We completely took over the entire estate sale and just took everything possible. Plants, everything, lamps, couches, rugs, everything she could possibly get her hands on, she just took. And we didn't know how to get it all back. It was somewhere in Midtown, and she was at Elizabeth Street. So we decided to rent an Uber XL. So the driver pulls up, and we've got all of this stuff. We're on the side of this busy Manhattan street, and we just start loading it with everything. It's just a Tetris game, trying to figure it out all, how to get in there. This can go in there, da da da. And there's a picture that I have of her, of how crammed she was in the back of that Uber. And we just looked ridiculous, and how cramped we were. But we all fit in the end. The driver packs us in and then sits in his driver's seat, situates the mirror and says, "Okay, so Jessica." And Steph and I were both like, oh no, this is not our ride. And he's like, "I'm just kidding, Stephanie." And the three of us just laughed and laughed and laughed, and moved her in with all her new stuff. And that just goes to show her wonderful sense of humor. And I love her.
It's with a very heavy heart that I'm recording this message to share with you all about our beloved Stephanie. I'm Nick, and on behalf of the Andrews family and Steph's extended family and friends in Australia, I'd like to share just one of the many, many beautiful memories we have of Steph. Some 9 years ago, the four of us lived in a little apartment, and Steph came home one day with this very cute little kitten. I was always a dog guy, and Maeve even said to Steph, "I'm allergic to cats." However, she said it would only be for a few days until she could find her a permanent home. How this came about was when she took Mike to the pound, unknown to him. This was her second visit. She asked the staff to show them Layla, a little kitten in the sick bay, and then said to Mike, "Okay, we can go now." Mike simply couldn't walk away at this point. Well played, Steph. We all fell in love with Layla rather quickly, and my cat allergies miraculously disappeared. After a few weeks, we knew Layla was now part of the family for good. Mike and Steph took Layla to the vet one day, and they returned with Leo, Steph exclaimed, "Layla the dude." We still laugh about this, and Leo is still very much part of our family, with a constant custody battle between us. The memory sums up Steph very well. She was all heart and full of love. Steph has left a big imprint in our hearts, and her life will always be celebrated among so many of us here. Dear Steph, we weren't ready to say goodbye, but God had other plans for you. We are forever bound by an invisible string of love. Even though we can't see it with our eyes, we feel it deeply in our heart. You are only a thought away. Goodbyes are not forever. They are not the end. They are simply, I miss and love you. Until we meet again. Your family from Sydney, Australia.
Stephanie Stewart, the most beautiful person inside and out. Endless fun, endless laughter, always adventurous and ready to seize the day. So many memories, I couldn't dare try to pinpoint my favorite. One of my most cherished things in life was being her friend. I feel her everywhere all the time. Her energy, her soul will always be with us. She is everlasting. Remember her, celebrate her, look for her, and be joyous.
I have so many wonderful memories of Steph, but the thing I'll forever remember her for is her kind, genuine heart. She would light up the room when she walked in, and when you had conversations with her, you always had her undivided attention, as if whatever you were telling her was the very most important thing in that moment. I truly believe our world would be a better place if people were more like her. I know I'm better for knowing her, and I wish everyone could be so lucky to have such an amazing friend just like her. Until we meet again, my sweet friend, I'll forever hold you in my heart.